returning to penalties and warnings. There will be a lot of warnings. They're there to keep you safe. If you receive a warning, it does not mean you're in trouble, it does not mean you're a bad person. So, warnings are control. Control warning is going to be the most common warning given. It is referring to striking or making an intended strike at an intensity level that is higher than what is acceptable. A strike does not have to land for a control warning to be given. What this looks like is if I have Mark here, just go to a defensive guard, and I strike him so hard that it rocks him back, very, very powerful hits, the director will call halt, fight at your corners, issue a warning for that. Unimpeded strikes to the floor will be penalized the same way. Any questions on control case?
Walls, judges, etc.
Judges are illegal targets. Nobody should hit the walls because we're in a gymnasium. If you manage to hit a wall, I'll create a warning just for you. It's the don't throw your sword warning. Okay, illegal targets. Illegal targets are the back of the head, the back of the knee, and the foot. No strikes will be thrown to illegal targets at any time, during any point, during any given exchange, even if it is the only available target to you. If I have Mark, I push Bill, and he ends up like this, I cannot hit him. Alternatively, if I am grappling with Mark, I cannot hit him from behind. Doing so, you will receive an illegal target warning, which comes with a point penalty. Any questions on illegal targets? Illegal techniques, doing something, oh yes, and judges are considered illegal targets. If you hit a judge, you will be penalized accordingly.
Or the director, just throwing that out there for good measure.
Yeah, or the director, or the audience. Illegal techniques, anything that is disallowed by the rules, so that would be striking with the quillons to any part of the body, striking with the pommel to anything besides the mesh of the mask, any impact punches, kicks, elbows, with the caveat that push kicks and using the hands to push to open space for a grapple is permitted, so long as it does not make an impact. So what that is if I am making an impact, it will jar him. To do so without executing an illegal technique is to place my hand and push. Yes?
Rules state that you can do a pommel strike to the top of the mask. Does that apply?
Yes, so mesh and top of mask only, no palm strikes to the side.
Also, 2 hands on the blade.
Oh yes. Doing this is an illegal technique. I'll kick you out. Any questions on legal techniques?
There's more warnings. There's more warnings.
Yep.
Okay.
That was just, yeah, any questions on that one specifically? Okay, so the other area which we'll get into for illegal techniques is I'm going to go over the Zornhau grappling conventions. These are very specific rules for maintaining tournament safety, which means that some of the throws that we do in class are not permitted. So the way that works is we just ditch the swords for a second for safety here, so you can take off the mask. Throws will be done so long as the flooring solution has been, solution. The rules are takedowns must be done with control, and you are not able or allowed to accelerate your opponent to the ground or have their feet come above waist height. So, acceptable throws are simple sweeps, or low amplitude hip crosses. An illegal throw will be anything that, like I said, brings the feet above waist level. Something like that would be an illegal technique and penalized accordingly. I'm not going to spike you to the ground. If you accelerate them to the ground, it will also be penalized. Any questions?
Following does not count as acceleration, right?
No, acceleration is very specifically like you take the guy, I pick him up, and slam to the ground. Cool, any questions on that? I believe the final warning is just etiquette.
Failure to halt.
Oh yeah, failure to halt. So, failure to halt. A failure to halt warning will be done if you throw an additional strike after a halt is called. There will be grace given for strikes that are already in flight when a halt is called, So if I am already swinging, halt is called, and I go, oopsies, I'm sorry. No penalty will be awarded. If a halt is called, Mark lowers his guard, and I then hit him, that'll be a warning for him. Failure to halt will also be given for continuing a grapple in grapple range after a halt for a grapple has commenced. Any questions on failure to halt? Cool. Failure to defend. So, failure to defend is presenting part of your body intentionally that is either an illegal target or behaving in a manner that is directly unsafe. So, example of this is if Mark begins to swing at me and I begin to turn the back of my head to give him an illegal target so he can't hit me without being penalized. I will then be penalized for exposing the back of my head. If he strikes me, he will be penalized for an illegal target. So, bad news all around. We don't want that. Another example of that is if Mark walks forward without blocking at all and just beats shots to the face, he will be penalized for failure to defend due to the unsafe behavior. Yes?
If you hold your blade behind your head and behind your back as you duck away, does that count as an attempt to defend?
Yes. Yeah. The other time a failure to defend will be given, so what that looks like is if I strike at Mark and I can cover the back of my head, and as soon as I can, return back to facing my target. The most common and most likely thing that's going to be a failure to defend is because of the unique rule set of the system. If we execute an exchange, the director says halt, separate. I cannot turn and return to my corner. Doing so will be given a failure to defend penalty because I am exposing the back of my head while the clock is still running, therefore fighting is still occurring. Any questions on failure to defend? Yep.
For failure to defend, does it count if you like step extra wide so they and leave your knee and stuff open?
What do you mean?
So like if you're trying to step around them and you just demonstrate, like if Xander was trying to hit me and I have my sword like this and I step around him like that so he can very easily hit my leg.
Yeah. That won't be considered a failure to defend, no. It's got to be a very intentional and deliberate action. Stuff that would occur just normally in the defensive, just return yourself back to a defending position. As long as you do not, like, the only time something like that will be penalized is if I do this and I kind of hang out and linger like this, specifically to prevent him from striking me with an afterthought. Any other questions on failure to defend? Okay, final warning is etiquette. So an etiquette warning will be given for anything that is done unsportsmanlike.
You suck.
Exactly. So insulting your partner, insulting the judging staff, excessive like swearing and vulgar language, expressing a large amount of frustration to losing a match. Like there will be grace given for the shucks, that sucks type of mentality. But if you make a show out of it. I will also penalize excessive cheering for winning. So if you pull an Olympic fencing, yeah, and throw your mask on the ground for winning, it'll also be an etiquette warning. Etiquette warning is the most vague. Basically, if you do anything that makes me think that you are being a bad sport or risk to other people, it will be given an etiquette warning. And yep.
Can you receive etiquette warnings when not in a match? Example, if I am entering in a tournament but I am not fighting and I am harassing the fighters, can I be given an etiquette warning?
No, you'll just be told to leave.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, because like fighters have an excuse to get like amped up emotionally, spectators don't. So, any questions on any of the rules? Okay, we're gonna run a bunch of practice matches. Probably yes.
The 3 warning rule and the judges tracking warnings.
Oh yes. So, all warnings will be given a 3 strikes and you're out. If you receive 3 of the same type of warning, you will lose the match having scored 0 points. You do not have to receive 3 warnings to be disqualified. If you make an action that is exceptionally egregious, the director, at their discretion, can escalate it to immediate loss of the match, up to disqualification from the tournament and ejection from the building. So what would facilitate an immediate loss of the match is, say, an illegal technique that prevents Mark from being able to continue in the tournament, I will not win that match. I will lose that match and likely be disqualified from the tournament. Any questions on that? Okay. Judges, yes.
Tiebreakers. Also.
Judges will keep track of warnings that are given by the director. We'll practice that. And tiebreakers in the elimination brackets will be settled by whoever has the least amount of warnings. Okay, I think that's
What
it.
if they both have the same amount of warnings?
Then it'll be refought with a single match 7th.